Yeah, I'm looking at your LinkedIn.
Oh my.
What section it says I'm all about tech, golf, chess, and road running.
Oh God, I set myself up to fail. Okay, let's go. I'm a struggling runner. That's what kind of runner I am. Which is to say, I don't run for competition. I don't run for world records. I run for me. It's more like it's therapeutic. It's actually strange that punishing yourself for 4 hours at a time actually makes me feel rested and relaxed. So I do that. So primarily long distance is my thing. For a good time, I'd been running marathons, half marathons, 21 kilometers or 42 kilometers. But from the region where I come from, and even here in East Africa, you cannot consider yourself a serious runner if you haven't run the Comrades Marathon. So that's the ultimate human race. It's 90 kilometers. Yeah, so I had been training to do that, and I'm glad to say that I've run it, and twice. Been there, done that, got the T-shirt. So now back to sort of normal, life.
So no higher?
No, not 90. I can't keep up anymore. It's very taxing on the body, but it's funny. For something that difficult, it's so relaxing. It clears the mind. As you're running, you're thinking many things. It could be work. It could be, many other things that can actually just clear your mind, go out there. So that's why I love running. Oh, I'm blind as a bat. If you took this now, I'll be like, where is Ian? Where is he? So this is a disability. So it's a funny one that you hear. Yeah, I wear this so I can see. So even when I'm running, I've got specific ones that I wear when I'm running. Even when I'm out playing golf, I've got specific ones that I wear. I tried contact lenses. It doesn't work with me. I don't like touching my eyes. Yeah. About my childhood, how much time do you have? Wow, it's quite a lot. I was brought up by my grandmother. That is one of my best memories. I was brought up by my grandmother, and I was my grandfather's favorite. He always used to tell people that he's gonna go far, that kind of thing. But yeah, I was brought up by my grandmother, and I used to have pigs, 2 pigs. So this is a story.
2 pigs?
2 pigs, yeah. That my grandfather gave me. These were mine. I knew them. I had names for them. So one strange day, these guys from town, they come. I guess times were hard. They needed to sell some of our livestock, and they're coming to buy, the pigs. And they took one of my pigs. Heartbreaking. I was really inconsolable. I was crying. But one of the guys who had come to buy the pigs, I don't know how it happened, he had Vienna sausages with him in his car. Then as I was crying, he comes and he gives me one of the Viennas. Says, this is what we're going to do with the pig to make this. I had that one Vienna. It was so tasty. I offered them the second pig. I'm like, please buy the second one for the whole packet of Viennas. So yeah, that's one of the funny things I remember from my childhood. Well, I don't want to talk about pigs and pork, but listen, I enjoyed those Viennas. I wanted to sell the rest of the livestock so I can get more Viennas. I think even up to now, my fridge always has, Vienna sausages. So it's stuck. It was a series of, like when I get opportunities at times to talk to young adults trying to shape their careers, trying to grow. The one thing that I always emphasize to them is that there is no clear path. There is actually no one path. So because people tend to think, I want to be in law, therefore from high school I must study these subjects, and university I must study that degree. They think it's that linear. It's actually not. There's no clear path, and my life is actually testament to that. I have done literally a bit of this, a bit of that, and at the end of the day, it all comes up, because I think a valuable, well sort of like rounded individual is one who's touched a lot of sections. I'll tell you, at high school, at one point I was doing accounting and economics. Actually, my father wanted me to be an accountant, so wanted to enroll me to study accounting. I was passing, it was okay, but I wasn't enjoying it. So I dropped that and started doing English literature, because it was so cool. Those guys that were studying literature, they seemed to know quite a lot of stuff, and they were cool, they knew about the world. So I enrolled and went into that, even studied for a degree in that. And then I finished my degree. Now reality bites, I need to work. There are no jobs. With an English literature degree, I ended up teaching, right? But funny, you know what I was teaching? I was teaching accounting. So even at varsity, I had to chop change in the middle, and I then decided, no, this is not working for me. I went into journalism. Finished journalism, practiced for about 6 months or so. No, this is not for me. And then I decided to go into the tech space, because at that time it seemed to be the cool thing that's growing, that's bubbling up. But at the end of the day, the point I'm trying to make is that no time is wasted, right? So even that time that I spent studying a bit of economics is now coming back to be useful in my job right now. So no time is wasted if you invest in yourself. I think that's very important. Can I? Okay, you're being clever. I'm going to push this back to you and say, take a guess.
What does it say?
Be careful.
35 to 40.
Oh, you're so kind. You are such a kind man. I'm 48 going 49. It's my mother's genes. Life is always confusing, even up to now. I don't think there will be ever a time that you can say you figured out this thing, right? And this is important, especially for youth, right? Because they seem to grow up in a world where there's so much pressure. They feel like this person has already made it. My peers seem to have figured it out. So you also now feel pressurized to seem like you figured it out. In reality, you'll never get to a stage where you've figured it out. Even right now, I'm about 49, soon towards 50, I'm still figuring out things. So it's very, very important to pace yourself, deal with it as it comes, because the challenges are new every day. You're never going to solve it all at once. Because look, if you were never confused and you figured out everything from age 16, life would be boring, right? So I think those constant challenges are very important. And also go out of your comfort zone, right? The running that I talked about, I remember when I started running, I used to go to the gym. I know it doesn't show now, but I actually used to go to the gym. Yeah, I used to go to the gym and I'd run on the treadmill. And the treadmills have got like a 20-minute limitation. So I'll go there and I run for 20 minutes, probably just under 2 kilometers. And coming out of there, I feel so energized and proud of myself. I'll reward myself with a big burger, you know. Then one guy comes to me, he's like, my guy, why are you always running on the treadmill? You seem to enjoy this. It's not good for your knees, but what? Why don't you run on the road? I'm like, yeah, I'll try it. And then he says, you know what, this weekend there's actually a race in our club for 5 kilometers. I said, are you crazy? I can never run 5 kilometers. Not in my wildest dreams, right? But then once I started, I did the 5 kilometers. I said, why not 10? You know, why not 15? Why not 21? Until I actually ended up doing the comrades. So it's challenge yourself constantly. Start a new hobby altogether. Get out of your comfort zone. So that can help you even deal with some of your everyday conflicts and fill your life with challenges and goals that you need to accomplish as you go. It doesn't scare me. I embrace it. I love it. I don't want to say I feel like I could have done more, because then maybe self-doubt can start creeping in and you start feeling like sense of fulfillment, I think I'm happy with where I am. I mean, I'm talking about where I started and where I am. So I need to be grateful for that, you know. But obviously, you always need to keep pushing yourself. To your point, turning 30 and worried about this and that, first of all, to acknowledge that it's okay to be scared. It's necessary, actually, to worry about that, because that is when you challenge yourself, right? Don't be too comfortable, right? But secondly, I did a career change at 35.
Wow.
Yeah, I totally stopped working and I went back to school. My parents thought I was crazy. So don't feel pressurized that I'm supposed to be here, but I'm not yet there, so I'm therefore worried. You can start anytime. You can restart anytime, as long as you put your mind to it. So it's healthy to challenge yourself like that and be aware that you need to do a bit more, but also don't be too scared to start new things at any time. I will exercise my right not to incriminate myself. I'm joking, yes, of course. And two proud kids. Everyone who works with me know how much I love my kids. I live for them. I think that's the thing that actually motivates me. If you want to talk about scared, that is where I get scared. That, okay, if I don't get my stuff sorted out now, what's going to happen to them? I fully understand. I'm on my way out. They are coming in. So it's now all about them. So yeah, two kids, boy and a girl. Oh yeah, especially this the 7-year-old. He is scary. But if you're saying you're raising them in the digital, it's actually very exciting what you're bringing up. And we always have these conversations with parents. He has a tablet, but there are rules about how he uses it. So for example, right now, back home, it's still school term. They're actually going on holiday this Thursday. Last week I've been in Nairobi for more than a week now. So he's like, oh yeah, next week is school holidays. I'm like, oh yeah, cool. And then he's like, I cannot wait to use my tablet, right? What does that mean? He actually only knows that he can access it during the holidays, not during school term. And even during the holidays, we set screen limits for him. Right now on my phone, I can actually decide if he's using it, I can see he spent an hour, 2 hours, I can shut it off. So they're being raised in the digital age, but as parents, you have to play a role. Monitor and make sure that they're using it in the right way. They get an opportunity to actually be kids and play outside and do whatever stuff like that.
2 hours screen time, do you monitor what they are consuming?
Yeah, everything, absolutely everything. And he knows. So even the games that he's going to download, he knows. First of all, there are many apps in the market. If he wants to download a game, he'll have the conversation with either me or the mother. And then if we say, okay, to download, it actually has to, it passes through my phone. I have to now say, okay, I'll have to take the time to review, see the age rating, review, and so on. So this is very, very critical as a parent. You have to be involved in how they actually interact with devices. Not just that, TV itself, right? This is the thing that's right in the middle of your lives in the living room. So we're very conscious about the programs that we watch when we're there. At times you can't even watch news, right? At times when I'm taking him to school, I don't put news, I put music radio. Because anything can happen, right? They can say anything and it is not age appropriate. I remember we were watching, he loves to watch football with me. I obviously, sort of forced him to love Arsenal as well. He has no choice in that matter. So during halftime, then an advert for, I think it's wrestling, comes on. He's the one who actually screamed at me.
Yeah.
He said, Dad, what do you think you're doing? Do you see what's on the screen? People fighting. I'm like, oh, sorry, that kind of thing. But it just goes to show that I think it's more like developing this together with the child, as parents together, so that we all know why we're doing this, to protect you, to protect ourselves. We find that it's much easier going forward. I was brought up in a tough environment, typical African family where the father is very tough. So I made a conscious decision, I'm not going to be the tough father, I'll be the cool one. I hope I'm succeeding in doing that. But looking back, looking at how they put it together, it actually worked best. We used to think that they are tough, but it was for a reason, right? They're actually doing it to protect ourselves. I'd like to think that I'm tough to my kids right now, but in a different way, right? More collaborative with them, consultative with them. But again, the end goal is the same, to make sure that, you're taking care of this life and you're bringing it up and empowering them and equipping them to be able to deal with the real world out there. I think human beings, it may sound like a contradictory, I think human beings are the same, but I think human beings are different, right? That's what I don't want to go into the good of argument, but I think the most exciting part of traveling, for me, is the interactions, right? You walk into a room, someone that you don't even know where they come from, all of a sudden having a conversation, and now you're fascinated about, oh, he's studying, so what is he doing? What is he studying? That sort of thing is really, really fascinating, and you see the similarities of the youth here in Kenya, the aspirations of the youth back home, right? And yet also different, that kind of thing. So it's really, really fascinating to meet that diversity of cultures and human beings, not to mention the food. For me, the food is where it's at. I always make it a point that wherever I go, I eat the food that people there eat, right? I'm not going like...
What have you done?
I've been eating, obviously ugali is common in Southern and East Africa. Nyama choma is common as well. I think our nyama choma is better than the one here in Kenya. Okay, did I start a fight? Sorry. But like the traditional veggies, is it manangu? I enjoy that. Sukuma wiki, we also have a version of sukuma wiki in Southern Africa. Mukimo, I like mukimo. It's a bit too filling though, but I like to experiment with all those things. My favorite dish obviously is tilapia. Even when I was in Ghana, like literally every day, I was ordering tilapia, and my colleagues are actually laughing at me. Apparently, I've got this capability to pick it clean and leave only the bones. I do justice to the fish. There we go. Yeah. I think I'm a good person. I think everyone, you're born good, right? Then you're untaught as you grow, depending obviously on how you grow. Religious. Ooh, you're putting me on the spot here. Not so much as in a specific religion, but I obviously believe in the presence of a superior being, whether you call it God or Mwari or Nkulunkulu or Allah, or the supreme being is definitely there. That I believe in. What does success mean for me? I think for me it's bite-sized, right? I don't think there's overall success. Success would mean answering your questions and escaping the awkward ones that you keep throwing in. I think what I'm saying is, this is success in life, generally in everything. I think you have to address all pockets of your life as a human being. You need a successful career, you need, let's say, success at school, education, success in well-being, spirituality, and success in all those components, then can come in together to say, all right, I'm happy with where this is going. In as far as I'm content with life, I'd say yes. In as far as I'm content with life, I'd say yes. It's gonna sound cheesy, but green. I don't know, I've always had this affinity for green. I don't know why. I guess being an African and also a farmer at heart, I'm also a struggling farmer, by the way. A story for another day. I think green symbolizes vitality. It symbolizes life, I grew up, like where I grew up in Matebeleland in Zimbabwe. It's semi-arid. so you don't get as much rain as you'd get here in Nairobi. So you'd have, from the winter months, almost 5-6 months of dry, brown, colorless. Even the trees are dying. The first rain, the green that sprouts immediately is what everyone in the village would look up to. So I think from that time, I just had green symbolized wealth, green symbolized success, green symbolized life, that we're going to survive for another year. So I guess I took it from there. I always like green. Yeah. I think the child in me is actually the one that's always, when does the serious in me come out? This is how you should be asking me.
Yeah.
I think the child in me is the one that's the dominant character.
The job.
I think so, yeah. I think at times even my colleagues will be like, please be serious. That kind of thing. I take it from my father. It was, I think what struck me was of course it's all tech, it's all the same, but the sort of like shift in cultures, right? Moving from a more American sort of, Western-based corporate cultural environment to a more Eastern-based, corporate-based environment. I saw a difference there, but again, like I said, all experiences are valuable at some point. They teach you something either about yourself or about how you need to carry yourself as a human being. Yeah. She was. Do I even want to be remembered? I seriously take these things very lightly, in the sense that I think we're here for most things. We should just move on, right? That's seriously what I think. I don't want to be morbid and stuff, but I don't even want to be buried in a grave. I want to be cremated so that I'm out. Make space for other people. Yeah, seriously. Because you've done, your part is done, right? There's, I'm not one to say a legacy or anything, how will I want to be remembered? But of course I know my loved ones want to remember me in a certain way. I want them to remember me, especially my kids, as I mentioned, in all my what's and all, in all my glory, in all my faults and everything. This guy was like this, but at times he was like this. Just normal human being. I really, really, really like being under the radar. Remember how you talked about, I'm not seeing you so much online.
Yeah.
That's me. I really like to be under the radar, and be gone when it's time. Cool, buddy. Thank you.
Very interesting question.
This guy, you didn't warn me. You didn't brief me.